Yeah, Adam Russ Brown with Kentucky Today. What effects is this cancellation and everything attendant to it had on you?
It's been tough. Obviously, kind of going in the season, you're ready for it, especially it being my senior year. And it's definitely been tough, especially over the past week and a half or so, because it kind of came out of nowhere for the most part. But we've been dealing with it. We've been dealing with it in a good way. I mean, we've been together and we've been trying to deal with it as a team as much as possible. And I think we kind of ended on a good note. And I think it's kind of coming to an end for the most part of the sadness, I guess. But it's definitely been tough for us.
Adam, Michael McCammon, Cardinal Authority here.
Sports Illustrated.
Go ahead, Matt.
Okay. What was the team's initial reaction to finding out that the season was being cut short?
It was tough. I'm not gonna lie. I guess we found out the day. So it was Thursday. We were practicing, getting ready for Notre Dame, and we kind of found out after practice that we were gonna at least be suspended. And then I got home, and I guess I got on Twitter and I saw the College World Series was canceled. And I'm not gonna lie, I broke down. I cried a lot. I talked to a lot of guys, and we had our moment of tears and stuff, and it was tough. Especially kind of getting it all happened all at once. Especially that Thursday, we were talking about it, and we were like, we didn't even know anything was going to happen. And then the next day, we wake up and everything's getting canceled and suspended. So it definitely hit us like a train, and there was definitely tears. I'll tell you that.
Adam, Michael McCammon, Cardinal Authority here. When obviously you guys were one of the favorites to get to Omaha, and thus the tears from you and the others on the teammate, when it's such a difficult thing like that, when you're anticipating greatness in the season again, what was the message from Dan McDonald to you guys, and back and forth, your message to him as well as you guys try to get through this?
Yeah, I mean, initially we kind of thought we still had a chance to play. We kind of thought there were still opportunities, and obviously as it went on, that kind of started to diminish, which was tough for us. But Coach Mack, he's always been good for us. He's always talked about how we just gotta stay together as a team, stay together as one, and just kind of get through this together. Obviously, we weren't ready for this, and we were a team that we felt like we had a really good chance of getting to Omaha and win it all, which makes it that much harder. But kind of staying together as a team is what kind of kept us going and kind of just kept us get through this.
Hey, Adam Cameron with the Courier-Journal. Have you guys had any, like, even given the potential extra eligibility, any thought with kind of what the NCAA wants to do, or kind of what has been your thoughts to that?
Yeah, that situation's a little tough right now. Obviously, there's a lot of things that need to be answered, and there's a lot of questions out there, especially when it comes to guys going in the draft and kind of seeing where we can go. And it kind of depends on how all that shakes out. And then it also depends on what the NCAA does with eligibility. So right now, obviously, we don't really know. We have no clue. And over the next month or two, hopefully we get a little more answers and we kind of figure that out. But it's good that we have time. We can kind of figure it out. So, yeah, right now I don't really know. I don't really think anybody really knows, but we'll find out more as it goes on.
Adam, hey, Cardinal Authority. Have you all been told anything about the draft as far as what could happen or potentially? I mean, I know there's a lot of guys on this team that would get drafted. Have you heard anything at all?
There was actually something. I mean, obviously baseball. We talked to a lot of guys and we kind of figure out our own answers. But there was a thing today that says the MLB and the MLB Players Organization is going to meet, and the draft could be cut short and it could be less rounds, which could affect a lot of guys. So it kind of depends on how it all goes. But other than that, no, we're not hearing much. I mean, I think they want to figure out when they're going to play baseball again before they figure out when they need to start drafting guys.
What are you guys doing, maybe you in particular, to stay in shape?
Right now it's kind of tough, especially with all the facilities being closed. But it's kind of good that we've had nice weather the past few days and we've been able to go outside and throw a little bit and kind of stay in shape. Obviously, we can work out on our own, but kind of keeping our arms in shape, kind of seeing what's going to happen next is kind of the tough part. But we all have our own little programs. We all know what we're doing individually, so it definitely helps when you get kind of a feel for that.
Adam Cameron from the Courier-Journal again. For you, obviously, I mean, you were off to a pretty good start, and obviously I know you wanted to have a big year for yourself. Just just personally, how does this change, or does it kind of affect kind of how you feel like you might be perceived in the draft or by scouts? Does this kind of the season being cut short change that for you think?
Yeah, I think it's another thing is like I don't really know how scouts feel about me. It's kind of tough. Like obviously you have guys you talk to and you have your coaches who like help you with that, but at the same time there was going to be a big year for a lot of us, and I think a lot of guys are going to make moves and be able to kind of get what they wanted when it came to the draft. And obviously it's a tough situation and we don't really know what's going to happen, but all we can do is just kind of keep getting better and just kind of wait and see what happens. And I've kind of learned that over the past week or so.
Do you think the NCAA should give, seniors an extra year of eligibility and maybe even the underclassmen? What's your proposal on that?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, I think they should. Obviously, the people that don't really see it full circle might not understand that, but when it comes down to everybody, I mean, think about it, we only played a month, and it was a tough month for us, and we got a lot more going into it for the rest of the season. So I definitely think that the NCAA should, and I hope they do. But at the same time, there's a lot of questions and a lot of answers that need to happen over the next month or so before we can really figure all that out. It seems like.
Adam, Coach McDonald said last week that he kind of told you guys, let's to get through it. Let's not think about what ifs, and let's not think, let's not kind of how hard is it not to think about what could have been for this team this season?
Yeah, it makes it more tough now that we got so much time on our hands and all we can do is think, and it's tough. It definitely is, and I see where Coach Mack's coming from, and it definitely helps you to a certain extent of being able to go to get to work and try to do some things to make yourself better. But at the same time, obviously, you're going to think about what this team could have done, and we could have done something special. So it's definitely tough, but I see where he's coming from with there, and I definitely respect that because it's definitely something we need to do.
Adam, does the uncertainty of the draft and of kind of the eligibility thing, because, I mean, if the NCAA granted eligibility for seniors, you would be somebody who could take that if you wanted. Does the uncertainty of all that stuff and even the draft kind of give you even more to think about in these next few months?
The past weeks, it's been a lot to think about, and obviously we're going to have more to think about as we kind of come up on these next few months. And it's definitely a lot, but at the same time, I can't really do much about it, and I just kind of got to see how the chips fall. So that's definitely one thing you can think about, but at the same time, you can't really do anything about it. We always talk about control what you can control, and that's one thing I can't really control. So I'm going to try to keep my head down and work in and see what all happens.
Any further questions for Adam?
Adam, Matt again. If this is indeed your final season at Louisville, what do you think is your lasting legacy with the Cardinals?
Oh, that's a tough question. It's hard to kind of come up with an answer, I guess, when you're talking about yourself. But I kind of want to be thought as a guy that was a good leader, a really good teammate, and a guy that just went out there every day and put his heart on the line and just played as hard as he could. And I kind of hope that's my legacy, and I hope that's what I remember for if it is my last time playing for Louisville.
Any other questions for Adam? Well, great, Adam. Thank you for joining us today.